But those Islamist insurgents have captured a strategic port in Cabo Delgado in Mozambique. The clashes have left 1,500 people dead and more than 300,000 displaced. In the latest incident, that luxury tourism resort that Henry was talking about has been burnt out. Let's get an update on the situation now. We're joined by Paul Fauvet, editor of the Mozambique News Agency. A very good morning to you, Paul. What is the end game here for those insurgents? What is it that they are trying to achieve in Mozambique?
Oh, they're quite clear. They want to achieve an Islamic state. They rule by Sharia law, where things like alcohol, music, and dancing are banned. They arise from a split in Islam, and they adopt an extreme puritanical position. Initially, they didn't have much international support, but they managed to get support recently, in the last year or so, from Islamic State, also known as ISIS, and they have an alliance with radical Islamic imams in Tanzania.
All right, so where to now? I mean, you know, Henry had to call in the local police to help him. It seems that the army is pretty ineffective when it comes to dealing with these insurgents. If anything, they've been accused of their own brutal response.
Well, yes, the army denies these accusations. Say the video evidence used by Amnesty International has been doctored, so it's still under investigation. The Islamists hold part of the coast of Cabo Delgado around the town of Mozambique de Praia. Your report called it a strategic port. Well, it isn't. It is a pretty small port. But there's a lot of heavy fighting has been going on in that area, and the army is clearly interested in retaking it.
All right, so when it comes to these oil fields worth billions, one of the biggest potentially in Africa. I mean, we saw it in Libya when insurgents there captured oil fields. That helped fuel their cause, their terrorism. So is this something you think that they are possibly aiming for, and can they be kept away?
They're not oil fields. They are natural gas fields.
Sorry, I'm talking about the energy there. Yeah.
These are very large natural gas fields in the Rovuma Basin in the far north of the country. There are two major projects underway. One is for a floating natural gas liquefaction facility. That will go ahead. There's no way that the Islamists can reach this floating platform, which is 40, 50 kilometers offshore. Onshore, there are gas liquefaction plants which are beginning to be constructed. This is the main player in this is the French multinational Total. And Total has done a deal with the government in terms of security, trying to guarantee the security of this part of the province.
Okay. I mean, you'd think with that sort of clout coming from Total, the massive investments, the Vemizi Island project, which brings millions into the country, that some sort of action, let's not forget the thousands who've been killed, that some sort of action is going to be taken. Of course, again, SADC is just sitting there idly with nothing better to do, but not getting involved. The African Union not getting involved. Now Mozambique is calling on the European Union. Should there be some sort of international intervention?
The Mozambican government made clear that it would like logistical support, training support, to get some people with experience in fighting this kind of water to help train up its defense and security forces. And this was a request made by the foreign minister to the European Union a couple of weeks ago. The islands that you mentioned, these should be important for Mozambican tourism, but they'd already been knocked out by the coronavirus pandemic. There's no tourists on the islands. The islands have been retaken last week by the Mozambican forces, but the long time before there's any resumption of tourism there.
All right, Paul Fauvet, good to talk to you. Thank you very much.